So federation worked for us. I am a product of federation. The reason why Awolowo was able to declare free education in 1955 was that there was derivation money. 50% of whatever was derived from your area went back to you. That means Lagos people, you are lucky. If this building were in Warri, there would be no militancy in that place. I can assure you. So, but before you got to this building in Lekki, it was Awoda group, Action Group, that started developing from Ikeja to Ilupeju, then to Apapa. The thing is now duplicating itself. You don't even need to plan because the initial seed have been planted. Free education that he took in 1955 is what allowed me to go to school. I would have been a fisherman in Ilaje. So he liberated millions and millions. He's not alive now. But if you go to any institution, you will find that 50% benefited from that education. Why did he do it? He's an Ikene man. He didn't use his personal money because derivation as a result of federation allowed the regions to accumulate half of their money, and it benefited the whole country. Ahmadu Bello University was built at that time. University of Nigeria, Nsukka was built at that time. So was Ife. So what happened to that federation? That is the point of restructuring. It was the soldiers that killed it. And that's a long history again. It's 30 years they were around. I know soldiers, wherever they are in the world, from the time of the pharaohs of Egypt, soldiers destroy and loot. And they did that to Nigeria for that 30 years. I have the details there step by step. The first, they canceled derivation. Why did they cancel derivation? Because in 1956, there was what you can call a geological accident. Oil was discovered in commercial quantity in Oloibiri, in what you call Bayelsa State today. But that's not the first time oil was found. They have found oil in Ondo too earlier. But that's where you have the bitumen in Ondo now. But when the oil was found, it was found in a minority area, not in a majority language. So it was easy for federal government to take it over. There was an excuse. The Civil War started in 1967. And all the oil wells were in Port Harcourt, Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa. It was part of eastern Nigeria at that time. And Ojukwu was head of Biafra. The federal government said, no, all the oil money should come to federal, so that Ojukwu would not have money to buy guns to fight us. I knew about this. I was in secondary school already at that time. But the war ended January 15, 1970. That law has not been changed. They kept it now, and that law is what has stolen the money of Niger Delta to develop the rest of the country. When you go to Niger Delta, they say we are all militants. So that is how federalism was killed. It was killed because the government at the center becomes more powerful than the government of the state put together. And we have looked at all the federations. There are 28 of them in the world. The most populous is India. But the most perfect in operation is USA. In USA, there are 51 states there. They are not of the same size. California, the one where the Bush come from, they are big states. Texas. But Rhode Island, just near New York there, or Honolulu inside the Pacific Ocean, is very small. Alaska, very small. But they are all equal when they come to Washington. Why are they equal? The government of America in Washington, D.C. does not take kobo from California. California is number 5 economy in the whole world, one state. Even if it's only the Hollywood artists, they can run a government of their own. But the central government does not go to California to carry the California money to Washington. Then at the end of the month, invite all the 51 states to come to Washington. Come and share money. Oh, I have stolen, I have brought it here. What has killed Nigeria is the military unitary government, which is not only unitary in administration, but which has also hijacked the resources of minorities in the Niger Delta. All the past 30 years is like a civil war. If it's not in Umochem, in Nikwere, it's in Ogoni. If it's not in Ogoni, it's in Odi. If it's not in Odi, it's in Nebe. If it's not in Nebe, it's in Akasa. If it's not in Akasa, it's Boni. When it crosses, it's either in Brutu, or Wari, or Escravos, or Borodo, or everywhere where the oil, or Kokori, Ugeli, where the oil is, the citizens are fighting. And the more they fight, the happier the federal government is in Abuja. So that is one handicap that restrains Nigeria from growing. It is not policy of the individual. It is enshrined in Section 44, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution. That section says any revenue that comes from oil and gas, mark my words, from oil and gas will be owned by the federal government, 100%. But that section does not say any revenue that comes from herding of cattle or buying and selling Napapa or importing cars or in selling Beniseed. The law does not take that money from those who do those businesses. The law is targeted only on Niger Delta people, oil and gas. And the conclusion I have in the paper is there. As long as that law remains in Nigeria, there will be civil war on Niger Delta permanently. Because everywhere in the world, from American history of revolution of 1776 to South Africa apartheid, once land and resources are involved, human beings cannot stop fighting until justice is restored to them. I will end now with this restructuring a national conference in a few minutes. Over the years, people always struggle, give us more government, give us more local government. They have increased the states from 12 Gawan's time, then to 19, then to 21, then to 30, to 36. And there's no end to it. Because it's even sweeter now, because whatever condition you are, when you go to Abuja at the end of the month, you will come with lorry load of money. You don't have to walk. In 1960, when we had independence, every region was walking. If you didn't walk, you would not earn. The quality of life then was better. I grew up in Warri. Some can testify to this, probably in Saple. Light never blinked. It didn't blink. And the light was generated from charcoal. And the charcoal was brought from Enugu coal mines to run. Each town had its own electricity. You didn't have to connect Lagos to, this one in Lagos here is from Utorogo, 2 kilometers from my house. You use cables to carry it. Halfway, reptiles will break the cable. But the reason to bring it here is that it is a big contract. Money is involved. You are going to spend, you are going to repair, you are going to buy. They have turned Nigeria to a buying and selling country. No longer a country for infrastructure, for development, and delivery of service. So we will not stop. We will keep asking that. Let's return to 1960. If we don't return there, lives will be shorter and shorter. Open any page, either is Independent or in Vanguard or Punch. Page 3 to page 6, it is only crime you are going to see there. Somebody is kidnapped. Somebody is sold to slavery. There's a baby factory somewhere there. The police have shut down some sorts of, the police have killed 13 Boko Haram. Tomorrow they will kill another 26. They have been killing for 10 years. Boko Haram is still there. So it is these stories of crime and blood and tears that get into the international media. So when you say Japanese come build business, it will show you a photograph or somebody was kidnapped yesterday. So the reason why these things are happening in a violent way is because the structure of government in Nigeria is inequitable, is unjust, is oppressive, and is dictatorial. So when the National Conference took place in 2014, we thought we could solve it there. I was a delegate for Delta State. I will spend 6 months. And we agreed among ourselves that there will be no vote. Because once you take it to a vote, somebody who is sharper in mouth can win you. So we avoided vote for the 6 months. We would quarrel for 1 week until we come to a conclusion and consensus. Then we will write it down. Once you vote in Nigeria, money can buy the vote. So, what did we do? We went back to these 28 constitutions in the country. Agbakoba was the one who supplied them to us. And we checked their constitutions, America, India, Australia, Switzerland, Canada, and we found that we were strange. We didn't belong. So why would we call a federation? Let's return to the time of Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello, Azikiwe, Michael Okpara, Dennis Osadebe, and so on. We wanted to return there. At least we have lost 50 years, we don't mind, but let's go back to 1960 and then walk back in steadiness, in clearness, in clear conscience. So we put a report that was 600 pages, but the only thing that concerns us in the hall this evening is what did we do about restructuring? We found that there are 36 states, but they are not equally distributed among the 6 geopolitical zones. So first, we said all zones should have equal number of states. Whether the states are small, whether they are big, irrelevant. First, equalization, equity, 9 states per zone. That was what we agreed on. The second decision, there are 7 states in the Northwest zone. There are 5 states in Southeast zone. We said give 1 extra state. So 4 states to the Southeast zone. One is even called Aba State. The city itself is a state on its own. They will take care of themselves. They are industrialists. And we gave 3 new states to all the zones except the Northwest that has 2. For those who come from Niger Delta, we have 3 new ones proposed there. One is Ogoja State, top of Cross River. From that place to Calabar is 5 hours drive. They get to Abuja faster than they get to Calabar. The argument was sound. We granted it to them. They have vast arable land there they can depend on. The next one is Delta State, River State. We call it New Oil State to the south. All the mangrove, Bonny, Calabari, and so on will be on their own. Then the Delta State, we call it Anioma State. They've been on it since 1952. It was granted them. The rest, Shekiri, Urobo, Isoko, Ijo, they will stay together. If they quarrel there, but they will settle.